Hello, I'm Tom Wilson, and I'm here to talk about the Taurus-Gemini Taurus relationship. Now, the Taurus is an Earth fixed negative sign ruled by Venus, and its symbol is the bull, and it is a feminine force. Gemini, on the other hand, is an air mercurial positive sign ruled by Mercury, and its symbol is the twins, and it is a masculine force. The male Taurus female Gemini is a 2-star relationship, and likewise Gemini male Taurus female is also a 2-star relationship. Now, this is a relationship of contrasts. The slow, steady and powerful Taurus contrasts markedly with the flashy, mercurial, agile and cleverly twisting Gemini. And don't forget there are 2 of them, so that's even more confusing for the poor bull. The Gemini runs rings around the Taurus. However, the Taurus can lash out eventually, quite unexpectedly, and simply crush the poor unsuspecting Gemini. Now, the Gemini can be an absolute shyster to the lovable Taurian, but fate usually lends a hand, and eventually the Gemini will incur the fearsome wrath of the Taurus. But it's this mercurial, changeable nature of the Gemini that leaves the poor Taurian somewhat aghast and sitting with something happening around him that he can't quite trust or understand. The Gemini can quite happily throw away security, and this contrasts with the Taurian reluctance and need to stick with a very firm track already laid down. The Taurian likes the business model where you go to university, you get your degree, you work in a firm for 30 or 40 years, pile up loads of cash, and then retire. Gemini doesn't do that. But the Taurus understands that he can actually learn something from the Gemini's flexibility. But he finds it hard to take it in because the Gemini moves so fast. And the Taurus, being intent on security, it's very easy to sell them life insurance for protection of their families, their possessions, together with income insurance. And they usually fall for the clever and charming Gemini. But they quickly tune out when the Gemini starts repeating themselves. If the Gemini is showing reluctance and the Gemini is getting impatient and repeating themselves, the Taurian stops. Now, the best way to move the Taurian is to show them affection. Put an arm around them, clasp their hand firmly, and any form of touching or showing of tenderness. And the Venus-ruled Taurian, their heart will move. But show any form of coldness, and the very ground upon which the bull stands will freeze and make them immovable. So there's an innate contradiction in this pair. The Taurus tends to feel when he or she should be thinking, and this contrasts with the Gemini, who is thinking when he or she ought to be feeling. A young relationship between these 2 is very raw and problematic, being 2-star. A more mature couple, worldly, wise, humble, willing to commit, they can make it work. And it's a very interesting area. There are so many variables, but I've just given you the basics. So I recommend you look at my website, Zodiac Sign Compatibility Chart.com. There you'll find access to books, websites, a monthly blog, and the compatibility chart, which very quickly gives you star ratings, 5-star down to 1-star, between the various star sign combinations, and there are 144 of them. But one of the most interesting things is not only the compatibility chart, but the website by Carl Boudreau, and he does a monthly YouTube video where he analyzes the situation and just gives a picture of the ether and how it affects everybody, from political leaders right down to you and I. And I think he's a very wise old owl. I like him. So I'll leave it there and have a look at my website, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.